Welcome to Corporate Agony Aunt, the podcast that takes the agony out of career progression and gives you the straight talking advice you actually need to thrive at work. I'm Izzy, your Corporate Agony Aunt. Whether you're chasing a promotion, negotiating a pay rise, navigating office politics, or figuring out your next career move, this is the place for the career highs, the lows, the yeses, and the nos. Hit subscribe wherever you're listening because your next big opportunity starts right here. Today, we're talking toxic workplaces and setting big boundaries. Let's spill some corporate tea. Our first corporate dilemma is, Dear Corporate Agony Aunt, I'm stuck in a toxic workplace. How do I get out? A toxic workplace absolutely drains your confidence, your motivation, and your mental health. And the longer you stay, the harder it can be to leave. But the best time to plan your exit is before you're at breaking point, when you can make a strategic move, not a desperate one. So what you need to do is start job hunting quietly. Keep it low. Toxic workplaces can turn vindictive when they sense that you're looking. Update your LinkedIn without broadcasting it. Turn off the share with network function that everyone dreads about accidentally putting on. And start applying strategically so you leave for the right role, not just any role. Importantly, please protect your energy. Try and detach emotionally and stop giving more than the bare minimum to a company that doesn't value you. Just try and take breaks wherever possible, whether it's using your annual leave, taking lunchtime walks, or just finding small ways to disengage at the end of the day. And if needed, you should absolutely document everything. If the toxicity is veering into harassment or unfair treatment or unfair dismissal, please keep a record of incidents in case you need to involve HR or legal action. Exit plans are genuinely a form of self-care. When I tell people to save money for a rainy day, I don't mean to go on holiday to Bali. I mean, so if you absolutely hate a job, you've got an exit plan where you can leave immediately. Your loyalty should be to your career and your well-being, not to a workplace that doesn't serve you. Our second corporate dilemma is, Dear Corporate Agony Aunt, I'm expected to always be on. How do I set boundaries? Work-life balance isn't just about personal well-being, it also protects your performance and your long-term career sustainability. So if you're constantly available, you'll always be expected to be available. Boundaries aren't just necessary, they're respected by good leaders when set correctly. How to handle it is by defining your working hours. So you need to be clear and proactive and set expectations before they become assumptions. So for an example, let's say I'm waiting for late night emails to pile up and it's getting on top of me. Instead, I'm going to tell the team, I'll be offline after 6 p.m, but I'll respond first thing in the morning. You're doing it, you're preempting and you're proactive. Use your tech to enforce boundaries. So turn off your notifications outside work hours. Use do not disturb settings on apps. Set an auto reply for after hours emails. I'm offline right now, but I'll get back to you during working hours. It's a way to push back professionally. And if your boss keeps overstepping, you need to address it head on. If they expect instant responses late at night, say, I'm happy to handle urgent matters during working hours. Should we set up a process for emergencies? You need to stop it from happening again because your time isn't free just because your phone is on. Availability doesn't equal productivity. You need to set boundaries early and consistently, and people will eventually adapt to them. Next up, we have our corporate confessional section where people write in anonymously to tell us all the biggest mistakes they've ever made in their career to make us feel bigger about the mistakes that we make too. And so you can realise that these people are still at the top of their career despite making a big mistake at work. This one is, Dear Corporate Agony Aunt, I worked for a family company where I was one of 3 account managers looking after a multi-million-pound account. This particular account was relentless, a constant wheel of chaos, but as the income grew, so did the expectation. My manager wasn't giving me the support I needed, I was in tears every day at work, and naturally human errors started to occur. I wasn't the only one feeling this way, we were overworked and under-resourced. Had my manager inspired confidence rather than fear, and I honestly don't think the errors would have occurred. 1 minute she was your best friend, and the next she was swearing at me in front of the team. Despite the stress, I still learnt so much, and I'm still there today. Swearing in front of the team is a surefire way to lose the team morale, so I can understand if that's what your boss is doing to you when you make mistakes or when you mess up, you don't want to hear it. And also, a boss that blows hot and cold with you is not a good boss, and that is not a reflection of your mistakes or your work ethic or your capability at work. That is a bad manager that needs to learn how to regulate their own emotions. If you make a mistake and it regularly becomes part of the conversation, but actually the mistakes are rooted in a lack of resource or not enough time and energy in the day to get your job done, then you need to have a serious strategic conversation with your manager about how you can get some more bandwidth within the team. Next, we have our interview power move masterclass. This is all about standing out, networking, and cold emails. Most jobs are filled before they even hit the job boards, and here's how to make sure you're actually considered. Firstly, you don't want to hear it, but LinkedIn is your best friend. Connecting with hiring managers, engaging with posts and messaging directly, commenting on industry discussion and keeping you visible is actually the best way to get inside scoops on opportunities that don't go public. Also, cold emails work. Research the company, find the right person, and send a short, punchy message with an attachment that's your elevator pitch deck from Canva. Say something like, I love the team your work did on project blah, blah, blah. I'd love to contribute. Would you be open to a quick chat? Please see my portfolio attached. You could go old school. If it's a local business or a startup, drop off your CV in person. Do something cool that cuts through the noise. Send them some Krispy Kremes with it. I don't know. Just do something that's outside of the mundane repetition of normal recruitment practices, because that's how you cut through the noise in a crowded market. Next, there are 8 questions you should always prepare for before every interview. They are: what are your biggest strengths? What are your biggest weaknesses? Why you over any other candidate? What do you hope to achieve in the first 6 months? Why this role and why this organisation? What is my biggest achievement to date? My biggest area of learning and development for this role is, and why I'm leaving my current role. Pause that, listen to it back. Please prepare for them in every single interview, because they will come up in some way, shape or form every single time. And those are things you should fundamentally know about yourself that you should not stutter on. Reminder, in an interview it is I, not we. You're not talking about the people in your team in the current job. They're not interviewing with you, you're interviewing on your own. You're talking about your own personal contribution, even if that's to group projects. Talk about what I did, not what we did, because I'm interested in you and not the colleagues that you worked with previously. Next up, we're on to community questions, where producer Georgia asks me questions that you've submitted on socials to make sure we're helping you as much as humanly possible. Producer Georgia, what have we got for today?
First question is, I'm going to move to a different city for a new job, but I'm scared and I'm having doubts. Help.
You don't need help. You've already done the biggest part of that, which is moving to the new city. You've planned it, you've got it on the cards, and you're going to do it. Honestly, that is the biggest barrier to most people, the actual impetus and the initiative to get the first step done. You're doing it. Obviously, big milestones and big moves come with a bit of fear and sometimes some doubts. But really, you can always just move back to the city that you came from. You can also find the old job back if you really wanted it. So please don't overload yourself with worries and anxieties of things that you cannot control and you don't know how they're going to go yet. Try the new city, try the new job, and I promise you, you'll be so grateful for the new environment, because obviously, if you're making that move anyway, you're definitely ready for a big change. And like I said, you can always come back. It's not a final thing. I think my sister's on her 3rd country. We've had 3 going away parties. She comes back after a year every time, and we laugh about it. So, Emily, if you're listening to this, I'm really proud of you.
Second question, how do you prepare yourself for a big career move? Tips, please.
Preparing yourself for a big career move is twofold. The first thing for me is financial, and the second thing is emotional. The financial preparation for big career moves is you having worked out how much money you need to survive if you have to go to zero pay, or if you have to take a pay cut, or if you're going back into education while you retrain and therefore can't have the same income, can only have part-time income. So you need to financially prepare and do the maths so you're not stressing about income when you're trying to make this big move. The second part of the move is emotional. Again, if you're thinking of doing something this big, it means you're ready for it. You wouldn't have those thoughts if you weren't capable of achieving them. So just try and regulate your emotions and remind yourselves of your why. Having at the forefront of your mind all the time of what your reasons for this big career move are will help you stay locked in and tuned into your priorities and not get distracted with coulda, shoulda, woulda, what if I did this, what if I did that. So lean into the financial planning to help that transition as easy as possible, and remember why you're making this career move, because if you weren't ready, you wouldn't have the opportunity. It's my favourite saying. How was that, Producer Georgia?
That was really useful, thank you. So, third and final question. My male colleague, who is less qualified and has less responsibility than I have, is on a lot more money. What do you advise?
I'm sorry to hear that. What I would say is that male colleagues been on more money than us but doing less is not an uncommon thing. And I'm sorry that that's the case, but that is the industries that many of us exist in. And actually going to your boss and saying, but Dave's on this much money, isn't a compelling enough reason for you to get a pay rise. So you need to ask yourself what your worth and contribution is to the company that dictates what you should get paid. Do your research, benchmark against different roles in the industry, find out what you're actually worth and what you should be asking for. Go with examples of where you've added value to the bottom line, made a tangible impact to the business or the business's culture. Don't go with with, I know my male colleagues on more money than me, because I promise you that's not going to be met with a positive response, because fundamentally the people that do the payroll already know that your male colleague is on more money than you, even though they're doing less. So lean into your personal worth and your contribution and why you should be paid more. And I also would similarly start looking for new jobs, because you can have a pay conversation till you're blue in the face, but if the answer is that you're not going to get any more pay, you're going to get fed up, frustrated, and done with the company you're working for. So start with that job hunt at the same time, so that you've got two different running opportunities that are happening at the same time and you don't have to hedge your bets. That's it for today. I hope this episode helped to kickstart your career glow up. Do not forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our future career tips and tricks, and share this with a friend who's also navigating their journey or their job hunt, and let's build an unstoppable community of professionals who know how to win in the corporate world. There are so many extra resources on my website and in the links in my bio to help you land your dream job and tackle your corporate dilemmas one step at a time. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time on Corporate Agony Aunt.